Linda, how you doing?
Hi there, I'm Rob Cram, and today we're talking about what we would like to see in the next Splinter Cell game, or if we're using numbers, Splinter Cell 7. Since Ubisoft teased that lead character Sam Fisher is the last of a dying breed in the recent Ghost Recon Wildlands special mission, Operation Watchman, it makes sense to speculate at least that a new game is in the works. The last game, and the one that you're seeing played here, Splinter Cell Blacklist, released in 2013. So it's about time we saw Sam back in action. So let's look at some key wants and desires for this new game. Although to be fair, this far down the line, it's likely Ubisoft will be well into development if they are actually working on a new game. Open world. Now, if you cast your minds back to the Splinter Cell Conviction reveal way back in 2007, commonly referred to as Hobo Sam, there was a hint of a less linear game on the cards. We saw Sam interacting with multiple objects during fights and wandering about open areas during the daytime without all of his high-tech gear. It's possible though that this approach eventually became a foundation for Watch Dogs, as they are quite similar in design, minus the grabbing inanimate objects to use as weapons. An area the size of San Francisco in Watch Dogs 2 would be a fantastic playground for Splinter Cell, given the real-time day and night cycles and the freedom to explore every inch of the map. The fact that Sam could blend in with civilians or avoid them could make for some interesting gameplay mechanics. Two-tier gameplay. Continuing with the open world theme, the idea of a living, breathing environment could work wonders for a Splinter Cell game. If you can imagine sneaking around not only the city's civilians, but also guards in private lockdown areas. However, a two-tier approach could be pretty special, where during the daytime you could have the gameplay mechanic of gathering intel with a less covert approach, like you might expect of Watch Dogs, and then once the sun sets, don the high-tech gear and stealthily infiltrate. This could be a great way of introducing a new set of characters. We saw the team consisting of Briggs, Grimm and Charlie, and to a lesser extent Coben in Blacklist, working together. But what if this two-tier approach is used and we get to control secondary characters during the daytime scouting and then Sam Fisher at night? AI behavior. Splinter Cell Blacklist did a lot right when it came to offering fairly decent AI routines, but still were not dynamic enough, often falling foul of being grabbed from a corner en masse. A more intelligent set of routines would up the game considerably, but also less predictable paths and ways of interacting with the environment. A more reactive set of parameters could offer much more challenge. In Blacklist, for those speed ghosting through the levels, it was a case of finding a very specific path that allowed you to bypass the guards, which played out the same each time the level was played. Throwing a more random element into the mix so that players have to think on their feet would be a much more natural approach. Imagine simply navigating the level multiple ways, with no one way being favoured over another, presenting a far more freeform playground. We think this is the way forward for a Splinter Cell game to evolve. It's AI. Tailored gameplay. A lot can be said about some of the gaming tropes used in stealth games, and to be fair, there has to be an element of fun for players, otherwise the game becomes too niche and a little bit elitist if it's too hard. It would be great if Splinter Cell adopted a bespoke experience where before starting the campaign, players could tailor various options such as whether guards radio in during set periods, and if no response is given, then a team comes to investigate. Something we've seen since Metal Gear Solid 2. Game over if discovered, and even things like timers for KO'd guards, realistic noise when grabbing enemies, adding pressure to the stealth takedowns with a more risk and reward approach. It seems highly James Bond that there's a guaranteed method of silencing a person for an indefinite period of time whilst you go about your business, leaving them snoring away in some bush. Up the ante, raise the stakes, make the AI feel more human, Ubisoft. multiple playstyles. Blacklist certainly headed in the right direction when it came to its freedoms of approaching each mission, offering Ghost, Panther and Assault points for actions. This is one of the features which has to remain alongside the point system because it encourages replaying levels, and that's a good thing. However, less emphasis on time and more on simply being undetected would be a better way to suit purist stealth players. The use of gadgets is optional, and if there's a way to complete missions without firing a single shot or using a gadget, then this has to be encouraged as something to strive for. Let's be realistic here. What happens to all those gadgets and bullet casings once the mission is over? Do they self-destruct in 10 seconds once the mission is complete? Perhaps this is an area that could be tied to difficulty setting, where there are less gadgets available in the field the harder you play. Alternatively, the team monitoring the mission could provide all the necessary intel for Sam in the field, and if we go back to the two-tier gameplay we discussed earlier, perhaps if more intel is gained during the day portion of the mission, the easier it is for Sam during the night infiltration. Anyway, that's food for some thought. Well, that's about it from me. Please leave your wants and desires in the comments section, and hopefully Ubisoft will reveal a new Splinter Cell game in the coming months. I'm Rob Cram, thanks for watching.